Check one. Check one, check two. Let's go live. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? 2024 is almost gone. 2024, go bye-bye. And I have no idea what I want to sing about today, but I know that Jimmy Carter has passed away. The great Jimmy Carter has passed away on this last day of the year. And Trump is soaking in magic power. He's going to save us in the last hour. I hope so. Welcome, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Today is almost the last day of the year. I said almost. We have one more. Tomorrow is the official last day, New Year's Eve. Wow, what a year. What a year, right? Time flies, right? It just flies by, right? Your life is very short, you know. Your life is very short. In fact, if you reflect on life, you'll notice that most of the people in your life are dead, have already died, especially if you're older. Well, everybody that you know will die if you don't die first. And what are we left with? We're left with ourselves. We're left with each other who are living, I guess. But it's definitely a short life, and it would be nice if we can extend it. Nobody has figured that out yet. Not even Elon Musk with his billions of dollars, or the Rockefeller guy who had. Remember that Rockefeller guy who had his heart kept failing and he kept flying to Africa to buy a new heart? He went through like 6 African hearts. They were killing motherfuckers out in the brush to get Rockefeller a new heart. And he would fly in there and get his new heart. And he stretched it out for another 10 years with someone else's hearts. Right? It cost 6 lives to keep Rockefeller alive for another 5 years. And anyway, man, time flies by, and so we'll talk about Jimmy Carter. How better of a life can you have lived? Rises from simple means, peanut farmer, grew up no water, no running water, no fucking dirt floor, in Plains, Georgia, peanut farmer, rises to the greatness of American president. One term. He wasn't particularly popular at that time, but we look back on it now and what he represents, Jimmy Carter. I think it's significant. We'll look at some of the ABC compilations and CBS. Everybody's putting together these lovely compilations of Jimmy Carter right now. So why am I going to bother doing it? Let them do it. Right? Fucking fake news. So yeah, here's my thumbnail. There he is, the great Jimmy Carter, the early Jimmy Carter. Rosalind, his darling wife, died a year ago. And Jimmy was at the funeral. He was, laying flat on his back. And life goes on. Both of them are now underground. And we can look back on Jimmy Carter's life as being... great leader of a great nation. How many presidents are still alive? How many former U.S. presidents are still alive, still breathing? It looks like, let's say, there's Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is definitely, arguably, still alive. There's Bush Jr., who nobody even sees anymore. He's fucking buried his public face somewhere. Where is George Bush? Not senior, but junior. Where is George Bush Jr.? Senior's dead. And, of course, Obama, still alive. Joe Biden's still alive, barely, and the great Donald J. Trump. Who's going to die first? Who's going to die first? Bill Clinton or which president? I'll just leave it open. What president is going to die first? Now, you'd say the least likely to die next would be Obama because he's still only 60 years old. But that doesn't really matter. You can catch a bullet. You can catch a disease. You can catch COVID. You can catch a punch, a ball kick from your wife or something, right? It puts you in the hospital and kills you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Conte is singing over there. What's Conte singing about? What the fuck is this? How to generate a film? Fuck you. That's bullshit. So, good morning, everybody. Vinny motherfucker. What's up, Vinny? Weevil girl in the house. Weevil, how are you? Bored Vicarious, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Good morning. Trying to make a program today. Trying to have a show. Trying to have a show here. This is my website. I have one. The Morning Report, one of the longest running educational philosophical live streams in America. Believe it, right? It's a long time. You know, people don't. Shows don't have staying power like this one does. You can watch every morning live on YouTube. And if you'd like to contribute, tip jar, Patreon, PayPal. Let's start right here with Donald Trump. Saying, what did Trump say about the passing of Jimmy Carter? Beautiful, heartfelt words coming down from the presidency. Donald Trump. I heard of the news about the passing of Jimmy Carter. Those of us who have been fortunate to have served as a president understand this is a very exclusive club. And only we can relate to the enormous responsibility of leading the greatest nation in history. Trump starts off with himself, former big president. The challenges Jimmy faced as president came at a pivotal time for our country, and he did everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans. For that, we all owe him a debt of gratitude. Melania and I are thinking warmly of the Carter family and their loved ones during this difficult time. We urge everyone to keep them in their hearts and prayers. Yes. Definitely. Thank you, Donald Trump, for that, for those fine words. Yep, we all go. We're all going to go.
Boy from Georgia, from the small town of Plains to the presidency.
My name is Jimmy Carter, and I'm running for president.
Yeah, baby.
Growing up on a peanut farm in a home with no running water or electricity, he would forge his own path, an outsider determined to take on a corrupt Washington and to try to turn the page.
I say to you,
they all say that. Every president in modern history coming into the presidency says we have to overcome. What did he say? We have to
on a corrupt Washington.
Corrupt Washington, right? We're going to clean it up. We're going to drain the swamp, right?
Determined to take on a corrupt Washington.
Determined to take on a corrupt Washington. That's what Jimmy Carter said in 1976 it was, I guess, when he ran. 74, whatever fucking year it was, in the 70s. And has the time changed? Every president says it. Trump said it. Trump, the guy who came before Trump, said that, we're trying to prevent a corrupt Washington in Trump. So there's always this element of accusing each other of corruption. And then they enter Washington and become just like everybody else.
And to try to turn the page.
I say to you, quite frankly, that the time for racial discrimination is over.
Really?
His path to the
How has Jimmy Carter done on racial discrimination? I don't think he's done so well. When is in modern history, when did we see the most race riots? We saw more race riots in 2020 than we did in the 1960s, right? The George Floyd race riots, people were fucking tearing down New York City and Portland and fucking Seattle. So we've seen plenty of race riots. Even Obama, the black president, couldn't stop it. an end. Jimmy Carter said he put an end to racial discrimination. What did he say?
Discrimination.
What?
Discrimination. I say to you, quite frankly, that the time for racial discrimination is over.
The time for racial discrimination is over. Oh, it was wishful thinking, I guess. Let's continue.
His path to the presidency began in Plains, valedictorian of his high school, graduate of the Naval Academy, and after running the family business, he would turn to politics. In 1970, Carter was elected governor. But so unknown nationally, when he came onto the game show What's My Line, no one knew who he was.
Is this anything to do?
He's got a great smile, you know. He was a great smile, a great president, right? Jimmy Carter, a great face for America. Now, people will argue that he faltered on the Iran, the hostage situation. That was his big hot button issue. And Ronald Reagan, who stepped in afterwards, fixed it. Ronald Reagan says, well, on day one, the hostages will return. And he gave Iran whatever they wanted. He gave them guns and bombs and whatever the fuck. Just give us our people back and we'll take care of you later. That was Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter tried to be more, negotiable. He also tried to broker a deal all the way back in the 70s between Israel and Palestine to no avail. Really? What did Jimmy Carter really get done? Instead, besides just bringing attention to it. Don't you have to get something done? Don't you have to have a result? Or you can just talk about it? I don't know.
Do with the world of fashion? No. Two down, 8 to go, Donna.
Yet in 1976, there was a hunger in this country for his plain-spoken
76, right. So he runs in 76 and wins, and then he gets beat by Ronald Reagan in 1980 by a landslide.
promise to be honest with the American people.
My name's Jimmy Carter. I'm from Georgia. Yes, I'm going to be the next president.
And this outsider would become the Democratic nominee.
As a candidate and as a president, I'll never tell a lie.
After Richard Nixon's scandals and Gerald Ford's controversial pardon, voters were drawn to this new face with a post-Watergate message. Carter's campaign fueled in part by rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
I want to introduce to you the great Allman Brothers.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Jimmy Carter was a big fan of music.
Dylan and Willie Nelson among his best friends. And it would all help launch a relative unknown to victory.
ABC now projects Carter is the winner with 272 electoral votes.
Wow, look at that.
He said he was surprised the first time he heard the words, President Carter.
It was kind of a shock to me, but I felt ready for it and prepared for it.
And determined to avoid formality, James Earl Carter Jr. would take the oath of office as Jimmy.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
the office of President of the United States.
His wife Rosalind at his side. They married when he was 21, fresh from the
It's fascinating, right? We're going to have this again. Trump is going to be inaugurated in another 2 weeks. We're going to watch this whole fucking system. If you're watching from abroad, this is how we do it in America. Peaceful transfer of power, usually. Bitter transfer of power. Joe Biden, has already, I guess, I would say Joe Biden died before Jimmy Carter did. Jimmy Carter was still alive. Joe Biden's completely dead. But we're going to see the new inauguration in 9 days. It's not as elegant as the changing of the guards in England when the king dies or the queen dies. Not quite as elaborate, but certainly we're going to watch Trump march down Washington fucking Avenue there to the halls of Congress, to the White House, or whatever road they use. And that big show of strength, we're going to see it all over again. We see it, so long as it's a new president, we see it every 4 years. It's amazing. An amazing thing in history, the presidency and the changing of the person we elect to be the most powerful of all of us, right? The queen bee. That's what the president is. I know we don't have a female president, but that's the best analogy that I can think of. That all of all of the worker bees look up to the queen bee or the ant, right? The queen, the ant queen, right? That's who we look up to.
Naval Academy. She was 18. And during his improbable journey, Carter's advisors would call Rosalind his secret weapon.
I look forward to consulting.
His secret weapon.
She was really a beautiful woman. She was so beautiful, Rosalind, at that moment, right? Well, I guess they're in their 20s or something. Beautiful woman.
I look forward to consulting closely with him on a regular basis.
On Inauguration Day, he and the First Lady would leave the limo behind.
It's also nice to know that he didn't get shot. He didn't die in office. Nobody shot at him. Look at him here. He's walking down fucking Pennsylvania Avenue, I guess it is, and hand in hand with his wife, right? Couldn't do it today. I don't think Trump is going to get away. Would even attempt, unless he's walking down, with a fucking bubble around him, right? Trump's got to get Elon Musk to invent him a fucking walking bubble so he doesn't get shot.
They wanted to walk the parade.
And this is more like it was in the old days.
The time had come to sign the peace.
Human rights would drive his foreign policy.
Yeah.
He helped forge an historic peace agreement between Israel and Egypt, which still stands today.
I'm so proud of both of you. God bless you.
Yeah, that's true. He did good things with Egypt. Egypt and Israel got along after that.
Ahead of his time, he was the first president to warn of climate change, installing solar panels on the White House. But the setbacks at home, rising inflation, growing gas lines, would wear on the American people.
That's right. As a kid, I remember the gas lines, the Jimmy Carter gas lines. And because, again, they want to protect the environment, and meanwhile, they were dealing with hostile, still are dealing with hostile nations, OPEC nations that control oil. And I think if nothing Trump says is correct, he's correct about saying domestic oil and gas is the way to go, as opposed to having to overthrow Venezuela or shoot at Iran or fucking, steal it from Brazil or whoever else you're taking the oil from. Dig, drill, go and suck out your own fucking gas and oil and leave everybody else alone. And you'll ultimately pay less and use less by doing that.
People.
Good evening.
Issues he tried to address in what was
Allison says no bubble. I think Trump. I like to see Trump. Hey, look, the Pope did it. You remember the Pope had a Pope mobile? You remember the Pope mobile? Pope John Paul. Remember John Paul came from Italy, and he drove around the United States in a white Pope mobile. It was just like a fucking pickup truck with a bubble on the back, but it was white, and it looked very Pope-like. I think Trump can pull something like that off easily. Just a very discreet kind of vehicle where he could stand up and even walk and talk like a festival barge, right? When you see that when you a parade, right? And here comes Trump right down the fucking with a bubble around him. I think that's the way to go. Why do we want to see? Does anybody want to see Trump get shot at again? Because it's going to happen. He's not liked, and some crazy fuck is going to try to kill him again, and you got to prevent that. And I think Trump knows that.
Later dubbed his malaise speech, though he never used that word.
It is a crisis that strikes at the very heart and soul and spirit of our national will.
And Carter would soon face another crisis. After Iranian...
The Ayatollah Khomeini. This was his dark moment, Jimmy Carter. Dark moment.
Militants seized American hostages at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. The president seemed powerless.
The American hostages were blindfolded, handcuffed, and marched out on the U.S. Embassy's front steps by the revolutionary students.
My thoughts and my prayers for our hostages in Iran are as though they were my own sons and daughters.
And even though that there were hostages, Jimmy Carter refused to blow them up. Although he had the capacity to do that and exterminate Iran at that moment, he didn't do that. He didn't do that at all. He negotiated with them, and eventually, on his last day in office, he got to see them released. Even though it was not his direct action, Ronald Reagan did that.
An American rescue mission failed, and Carter would lose to Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
The president, we hear, is preparing his own concession statement. What we may have at the end of all of this is the biggest landslide we've seen in years.
Yeah.
And after 444 days that gripped the country, the Iranians released the American hostages on the same day Jimmy Carter left the White House.
Yep.
ABC cameras were with him in those final hours when the release became reality.
Right on, man. That's great. That's great. I think that was the happiest day that I've ever had. Not in laying down the burdens of the presidency, which I did not want to do, but in just knowing that those hostages were free.
Right, but why did they wait? Why did it happen on his last day? Well, speculation is that Ronald Reagan offered them something. Ronald Reagan offered Iran something that Jimmy Carter wouldn't give them. It could have been a threat. I think it could have been a threat in disguise. Yeah, we're going to give you something. We're going to give you a fucking bomb over Tehran. You don't know what Ronald Reagan really offered them, but that day, those hostages walked out the door. They got on a plane and they were back in America scot-free.
Carter was just 56 when he left the White House, unsure how he would define his future.
We didn't know what we were going to do the rest of our lives, and we decided to take on projects that no one else wanted to do.
But Carter would redefine the modern post-presidency. He worked with Habitat for Humanity. And through the Carter Center, he traveled the world with Rosalind to eradicate disease, monitor elections, and to promote human rights.
He went to Africa to monitor elections. Hey, Jimmy, why don't you monitor your own fucking election right here in this country? You don't need to go to Ethiopia to see corruption in elections, or you fucking Uganda. Just go to Washington, right? Go to Washington. Get off your old ass. Oh, you're dead now, but get off your ass and go to Washington. You'll see plenty of corruption. Plenty of election fucking shenanigans.
All work that won the former president the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002.
We can choose to alleviate suffering. We can choose to work together for peace.
He
was inspiring.
Would famously travel commercial.
I love you, Jimmy Carter.
Shaking hands with passengers. But no matter how far
I love you, Jimmy Carter. You heard that?
He traveled, his home was always his farm in Tiny Plains, Georgia. In August of 2015, he revealed skin cancer, melanoma, had spread to his brain.
I've had a wonderful life. I've had thousands of friends, and I've had an exciting and adventurous and gratifying existence. But now I feel, that it's in the hands of God, whom I worship, and I'll be prepared for anything that comes.
But his faith and his strength would carry him through, and crowds would still line up at the tiny Baptist church in Plains, Georgia, for the former president, where he would return to teach Sunday school, just as he had for decades.
Wow.
Let them know what Christ means to you.
Those lines.
He's a real Christian, right? Teaching Bible school on Sunday. A real Christian he was.
A poignant tribute.
He's with Jesus. He's with Jesus now. He's ascended to the right of the Father, Jimmy Carter. How could you not? If that's what your faith is, and you live that life, you will be at the right of the Father right now. Right? He's there.
To a president who may
look up, you'll see him.
Be most admired for what he did after he
look at the clouds right now, and you'll see Jimmy Carter. Right?
He left office.
It's been the best part of my life since I left the White House, but I really have been both gratified and honored and pleased and excited to be the president of a great country.
The Carters had recently marked 77 years of marriage.
Wow.
And in recent days, after the former president lost the former First Lady Rosalind Carter, he was determined at 99 and in hospice to be there to honor his wife. He went to the church in a new suit that had been made for him, wearing a blanket over his lap with the image of his late wife. The two of
America.
Them were always a team, a shared purpose, a shared kiss. Jimmy Carter often said marrying Rosalind was the pinnacle of his life, more than any presidency.
Staying with me all this long has been the most wonderful thing in my life.
He's pretty wonderful in my life, too.
She's definitely my favorite first lady. Try to compare Rosalind to someone like fucking Hillary Clinton, right? Look at the contrast, right? Look at if you want to judge the quality of the person, look who Jimmy Carter married, Rosalind Carter, beautiful, wonderful person. And look who Bill Clinton married, Hillary fucking Clinton. Ugh. Hillary Rodden Clinton. Ugh. That's what happened. So what else? So Trump reacts. We already heard from Trump. Let's go over here. So here's Trump. I'd say Trump is on fire, right? So Jimmy Carter dies. Joe Biden in a couple more days is gone forever. People like Kamala Harris and Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi will be instantly forgotten about. You will not hear those names anymore. And Trump is in the process right now of creating his, second term legacy. Trump should have been finishing his second term right now instead of starting it. So he's had a lot of time to think about his second term, and you can see how he's systematically picking all very, very young zealots, people that, they're in their 40s and 50s, and they're zealots for Trump and his policies, right? So that's kind of unique as well. Trump is coming in not as the president, but as a former president who saw a lot of shit and got shot at and almost imprisoned, and every other thing that they threw at Trump, smeared, tried to kill him and his friends. Trump has I don't see any president in history, in modern history, that dealt with such a hurdle to get back in. Right? Trump.
Greatest years in the history of our country. With your help, we will restore America's promise. We will rebuild the nation that we love, and we will do it very, very fast. Quickly. That's what we want. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down, and we will never, ever, ever, ever surrender.
Do you think he's making that up? Do you think he's just reading it because he just wants to say something nice to the people? I know a lot of people perceive Trump as being just the entertainer, but I think he means that. He really is he's an American. He's a patriotic, country-loving American. A guy who was born in Queens, New York, and loves his country. He loves the success he's had. He loves his family. He loves... he has a lot of love in his heart for his country, and I don't think that that's fake. I think that that's his selling point, for lack of a better term. Well, let's listen to Trump. I'll shut up.
Together we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. We're going to win a lot. And together, that's
the new battle cry. Fight, fight, fight. Win, win, win. Fight, fight, fight. Right? Remember after he got shot in the ear? He almost got shot in the head. He got shot in the head. And Trump got shot in the head and hit his ear. And he said, fight, fight, fight. Immortal words from Donald Trump.
Together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again.
Talk about
we
it,
will
Trump.
make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. And thank you, Arizona. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Thank Thank you very much.
I shut off the music because he's going to dance to Young Man. Don't. Yeah, you can't play that. That's copyright music. But let's watch Trump dance a little bit. I'll sing Young Man. Don't need to feel down. I'll say, young man, get yourself off the ground and then stay there. And then around. I don't know the words. To be the happy. That was a horrible rendition of the YMCA. But, there he is, Trump. Let's do the dance. Do the dance. Do the dance. He's rising. Trump is the leader that America asked for. Right? He's going to clean up the corruption and probably deliver a whole lot more corruption. So that's Trump. Well, it's one last story. So Feds finally released photos showing then Vice President Biden meeting son's China business partners. Now, you remember the whole story about the laptop from hell. Hunter Biden had a laptop and it had all the dirty little secrets of what he was doing in Ukraine, how eventually it led to the destabilization of Ukraine by ousting the power of Zelensky, by vilifying him, saying that he was a Trump puppet. And then, Vladimir Putin came in and took Ukraine. That was all very, very much the blunder of the Biden family, right? And through that, Joe Biden said, and still says, even after pardoning his son for doing the fucking dirty deeds, said that we had no involvement with anybody in China. I wasn't into it. I wasn't involved. Here he is. These are the images that on his way out, the White House is now publishing. They're doing it while he's in office. He's already issued pardons to his son. Look at this. So remember Biden said, "No, I have nothing to do with China and their business partners." Here he is, introducing his son to President Xi Jinping, whatever the fuck his name is, Jinping, Mr. Xing. All right. There he is, selling it. I don't know anything about China. Here he is with the BHR partners, the Burisma people. Remember when Joe Biden said, "I had nothing to do with any of this. I didn't know anything." There he is in China with his son, shaking hands. Right? What was that guy? Archer, Hunter Biden's best friend, Archer, said that these types of meetings were going on, and here's a picture proof that it did happen. These people are scandalous. These people, they were taking money. If you want to know where Joe Biden got his money, look no further than these characters right here. Billionaire Chinese, billionaire Russians. This is how Joe Biden made his money. Right? There's no doubt about it. Joe Biden is rich because of these shenanigan dealings, and that is historical fact. New York Times did a great job bringing this story to the forefront, what was in that laptop. But there was never any consequence. Joe Biden never suffered any consequences for it. Hunter Biden has a pardon from the president going, 12 years back, backdated pardon. So he ain't going to jail. And no one will ever be held accountable for any of that stuff. So thank you for joining me. Enjoy your last days of the year. Tomorrow is officially New Year's Eve, and the festivities will happen. Humans like to jump up and down and wish away the former year and write the new year down, 2025. 2025 is upon us, and it's what you make of it. I was almost going to say I hope it's a good year, but it will be a good year if you make it a good year. Remember, the stories we tell are the stories. Right? The stories that we live is our life, right? And it's important to get out there and live and enjoy yourself and do, as my grandmother always said. She said, I got a birthday card that my grandmother gave me, and it says, "Always follow your dreams. Always follow your dreams and find happiness." Thank you, Grandma. Maybe she's up there with Jimmy Carter right now. Jimmy Carter, they believe the same thing. So thank you, Jimmy Carter. Thank you, Grandma. And Marcus Conte reporting.